who woke us up this morning.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
For sure.
Yeah.
Hey, I'd like to welcome y'all back to another episode of Clean Slate Lifestyles. Here I have another special guest right here. Hopefully he gets some, hopefully, I know for sure he has an inspiring testimony that is going to inspire some people out there. So I'd like to thank y'all for tuning in once again. And I get the floor to you. We're going to get straight on to it.
Okay.
You want to start by introducing yourself?
My name is Saul Jason Prophet. I'm 50 years old. I'm born and raised in Cincinnati, Ohio. And this sobriety day, my last sobriety day, the last one I'm going to have, is August 13th for 2025.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
For sure.
And so for this, sequence, we coming up on 6 months, all in a row. But I do want to preface, I've been in this fight for my life in recovery since about 2013.
2013?
If we gonna talk about my testimony, it's important for me to first and foremost say that it's been a real struggle, right? It's not like a thing to where, all these things happen and then bam, I just wanted to change. Like starting off, like I come from a big family. My dad was a preacher from the deep South. And what I'm saying, my mom, she was a woman, she was from the projects. And so they both had children. Then they came together and they had me. I was the youngest of a big Brady Bunch kind of come together style family.
How many siblings?
Huh?
How many siblings you got?
So you got my father, right? So he had 9 children. You got my mom, she had 4 children.
Wow.
And so then they come together and they had me. So if we just speaking numerically, I would have made 14. Maybe 15 or 16, because my daddy got some questionables out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, he was, he was that kind of man. You know what I mean? So being the youngest of these two different, cultural approaches, they both were heavy and deep into the church. That's where they met. They met at the church. That's where my father and my mother met, in the church. They came together based on the idea of the church. I believe I believe my father used that, and my mother in her faith, and some things, because we always find ourselves as human beings, we identify with a certain thing. And then once we identify with that, like if that thing is the church that I identify with, I'm gonna pull my mate, my friends, my support, my peers are gonna come from that thing that I myself am buying into. You know what I mean? I think that's a big part of like what being human is about. When it talks about the people you surround yourself with are gonna say a lot about you. And so that's kind of like what I came up in. But I have to say this also, having those older siblings, they were further advanced in things like drinking, drugging, and criminal behavior, if that makes sense. With me being the youngest. So, I had siblings that were 20, 30, 40 years older than me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, with me being the youngest, like I got nieces and nephews that are older than me.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times my nieces and my nephews, I kind of viewed them more as my siblings than my actual siblings. You know what I'm saying? My some of my older siblings were actually more like older parents. And a lot of these individuals early on, they were drinking and drugging, or they were involved with criminal activity, or both.
Mm-hmm.
And so me being the youngest, I came up seeing that, as well as seeing the church.
Both sides.
Both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, like during my teenage years, you know, I was a decent student. I was very bright. I was always very bright. I played sports, but I was never, you know, my attendance was always so suspect that I could never actually, like, they used to have X's, like, for grades.
Mm-hmm. X's.
Yeah. Yeah, so they give you an X.
Uh-huh.
If you ain't even, because it's like you ain't even been here enough days to get a grade, brother.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So what was the other grade outside the X?
So like an X was like technically worse than an F.
Okay, got you.
Because you ain't even been here enough days to qualify for an F.
Yeah.
So I would just get X's. And so, you know, I ended up dropping out of school, and I remember, I can vividly remember, and I had a friend, he went on to end up on death row, but I can remember that almost to the day when I said to myself, like, man, I ain't worried about school, I ain't worried about sports, I ain't worried about music. We'll get to that in a minute. You know, I'm gonna get this crime thing a try.
How old was you when you decided that?
15 years old.
15. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get this crime thing a try. Like, you know, because by now, you know, crack cocaine had infiltrated the neighborhoods. You know, it was like easily accessible to get like firearms, particularly handguns, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Especially like the 38s and the 25s, you know, the 380s. Like they were easy to come by, like during the late 80s and the 90s, and you know what I'm saying? Like I was 15 in 1990, so like, you know, these firearms, they I don't know where they came from or how they were doing, but you know what I'm saying? People were just popping up, you know what I'm saying, with these little guns. Like most of the time they would be that, like what I described, like, you know, a lot of my friends had like 38s, you know what I'm saying, 32s, you know, the little 25.
For sure, that used to be, yeah.
The little 25, the little chrome joint with the wood handle.
The wood handle, yeah.
I forget who made that. It wasn't Dillinger, but
Raven.
Somebody, but you know the little 25, the little, I think it's like a little 5-shooter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they had these little things, and then the 380. The 380s came out, you know, and then people, you know, was getting then shotties, sawed off shotguns, and you know what I'm saying, hunting right, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, along with, you know, crack cocaine and you know the influx into the neighborhoods, you know, these guns also came, and then there also became a fad of committing robberies. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like you know, they used to call it being a jack boy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like it was an actual term, it was an actual thing. And so that's what I thought that I wanted to be.
For sure.
And the idea was that, you know what I'm saying, you know, if I had to, I would just commit a whole bunch of little robberies, you know what I'm saying? But the idea was that I was going to be able to, we saw you had to case a lick. Mm-hmm. We was going to be able to case somebody and follow them home, and you know what I mean, you know, maybe kick in their door or crawl in the window, do whatever we had to do, and we was gonna find this big bag of money, yeah, and then retire, you know, and all that. So yeah, I'm talking about the fantasy. Yeah, I'm talking about the fantasy, and so none of that happened. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? What actually did happen is I actually ended up going to jail for aggravated robbery, and I actually tried to commit a robbery. Didn't get no money, no nothing. All I got out of it was time.
Talk about it.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know, I ended up, I ended up going to jail. Then in jail.
How old was you at this time though?
18.
18.
I'm 18.
Fresh adult.
Right? Fresh adult. Mm-hmm. Fresh adult. You know what I mean? I think I was 18 2 months when it happened.
Wow.
I think I turned 18 that July. That September, I committed it, and that next year, in 1994, they sent me off. You know, I pled guilty. They sent me off with a 6 to 25 sentence. And, you know, like, it was weird because, like, I was uneasy about it, but in the same sense, I don't think I had the natural fear that a person's supposed to have when they go into jail to do that. And I'm not saying that like to say like, man, I wasn't even scared when I was in jail. But I'm saying like there should be a normalcy in young people being afraid to go to jail. There should be a normalcy in somebody having severe anxiety about the prospect of spending this amount of time in prison. There should be some normalcy in somebody basically fearing consequences from the criminal justice system, which I did. But as I look back, it wasn't to the degree to which I think it should have been instilled in me. You know what I mean? I think because of like the things that I saw, and you know, like I said, my older, like the neighborhood I was in, you know, going to jail, drinking and drugging, that, you know, particularly, you know, drinking 40 ounces and smoking weed, shooting dice, committing robberies, selling dope, all that kind of stuff was my cultural environment during like my young teenage years. And then I go to prison with this.
Do you think that you was prepped for it already?
I was prepped for it.
Yeah, fact.
I was prepped for it by my environment. Not that people was coming up to me saying like, yeah, man, you know what I'm saying, we're training you, so when you go to prison, you'll be all right. It wasn't like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But like my grooming, you know what I'm saying, as far as, you know, these are the rules. You fight somebody. If somebody say this to you, you got to fight. You can't let them get away with this. You don't let nobody say this. You don't let nobody, you know, when I went to prison, you know, I had a lot of those rules. Little did I know that the older gentlemen and even some of my older siblings, they were on the streets living by rules that they brought back because they already done been to jail and now they back home. And now they institute like, this is how we roll. You know what I'm saying? This is what a real man or a real person looks like. This is how they conduct themselves. This is what they do. This is what they don't do. You know what I mean? And so
that's good, bro.
I had these kind of ideas in my head at 18 going into prison, and then they were cultivated in prison. But it was important for me to know. It's important for me to put out there that I knew I really didn't want to be in prison. Once I was there and I was in there and I really saw what was going on and the lack of anything soft, I knew that this ain't really for me. Okay. You know, man, people telling me what to do, you know, having to be confined, I knew that this wasn't for me. I knew this. And so there was a shift and a change that occurred in me in prison. That, okay, that deep level of street life and criminal activity, I'm cool on that. Plus, I wasn't no good at it, no way. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't who I thought I was at all. At all. You know what I'm saying? Too, right? And then I go to prison and I find out even those who was good at it, they still ain't get away. You know what I mean? So I didn't have a frame of reference to say, when I go back to that decision, the reason why I brought up that decision, when I made the decision to give crime a try, I like by the time I'm 20 and I've been locked up 2 years, I'm like, you know what? Crime don't pay. You know what I'm saying? You know, the commercials was right. Crime don't pay. And so here I am in prison. So now, you know, I'm getting my GED. I'm going to college. I found out that I'm smart, right? Now I did some rapping, like in these teenage years while I'm a criminal too, right? I even went to the studio. I even used to sell tapes back in my high school, but I thought that was just like a little hobby I was doing. But anyway, when I go to prison, at the prison I was at DCI, And I helped them start the music program. And I get a whole little rap thing going. Like we had a whole little rap group, a collective. Like, you know what I'm saying? We had a little rap movement / supposedly revolutionary organization called I can say it, the Crooks. I mean, it ain't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
The Criminals' Real Outlook on Killer Society. Yeah.
That's some thug-like stuff right
Oh
there.
my
Man.
God, man. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Look. I mean, but we, like, at the time, like, we was real serious about that, though.
Mm-hmm.
We was young men, and we was serious about, we believed it. Man, one of my homies, man, he got tatted on his stomach.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we was, like, severely real about this, and what we thought about what we was gonna be and how we was gonna be and how hard and violent and gangster that we was gonna really be. And it was totally false. It was totally false. You know what I'm saying? It was something that sounded good, but it was definitely misdirected energy on a certain level. You know what I'm saying? Like,
just your mindset at the time.
Right, you know what I'm saying? If it could have been fine-tuned in such a way, probably something great could have came out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like that rivaled maybe the Nation of Islam. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm thinking about, you know what I'm saying, God put it on my heart to bring that concept back, but change the criminals to Christians.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Be the
yeah,
crooks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And see how that will work.
I like that play.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, you know, for people like me who done came, you know what I mean? Because look, I get out of prison. I know I don't want to really be a criminal no more. I really don't. You know what I'm saying? Now I done found this music thing. But you know what I'm saying? And so now, this is when my alcoholism and my addiction is really gonna take hold. Because, you know, I ain't commit robberies no more. I'm not trying to be some criminal mastermind, but drinking and smoking weed is okay. And I drink to excess. You know what I'm saying? I'm blacking out. You know what I mean? So I'm blacking out, and before I know it, I start snorting powder. Because when you snort powder and you drinking, you don't black out. So I'm drinking, I'm smoking weed, I'm snorting powder. You know what I'm saying? And this is an important part of it too. I started paying for coochie. Let me tell you why that's important. Let me tell you why tricking is a very important component to this progress.
Let's talk about it.
Because so long as I had the money, because it's a natural drive as a man, there's a sexual instinct. So if I'm just coming straight off the money for the services, right, then the other areas of my life do not have to be up to par for me to still fulfill that physical and that natural instinct of a man to have a woman in his life.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? So when I found tricking, which I grew up that, you know, players, you know what I'm saying, real niggas, we don't trick. We ain't into that.
Not at all.
Nah, not at all.
Yeah.
But through my progression in this, you know, because now, particularly in the snort powder community, I'm dealing with broads that snort powder, and they tricking. You know what I'm saying? But they backdoor tricking. It's like this. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting there, we doing what we do. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's 1, 2 in the morning. You know, and she talking about like, yeah, man, you know, they talking about cutting my lights off in the morning. You know what I'm saying? I need 90, man, so I can pay this bill tomorrow when we get done. You got me? Because, you know what I'm saying, like she can't just come off and say like, you know what I'm saying, you want some of this cookie, some of this, you know what I'm saying? You know, she going about it like that. But this is a new world for me. You know what I mean? Because I ain't been tricking now. You know what I'm just saying. Yeah. This is a new, so, and you know, apparently she got the game from somebody. Say, like, you bring it, you set them up like this. You know what I mean? So she gave it me. Yeah. You know, and I'm thinking, I'm in the moment, you know, my little, you know, I'm like, yeah, I got you. Come on, don't worry about it.
Went from not tricking to it ain't tricking if you got it. Now.
Yeah. So what I say this in one of my jam, it ain't tricking if you're generous. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I never, this is kind of a war story. And like, cause so once I graduate from that, once I realize what I'm actually doing, and so now I'm just putting it all the way out there. Like, you know, what's the ticket? You know, now I'm just,
straight to the
you know, no, as the, you know, it progresses.
Mm-hmm.
So it started off like this kind of innocent game back and forth, but then when they get real, now I'm coming into the game. What's up, sweetie? What's the ticket?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I got a bottle. I got this little bag. You know what I'm saying? I got this room. What you need? You know what I'm saying? I need you. You know, yada yada. So it gets to the point where I used to say stuff like, you know, I don't pay for coochie, but I will pay for head.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? But if you want to give me some of that coochie, just because you want to.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I you know, to make it more appealing to my ego that's kind of seeing me as a sucker now because I'm tricking.
You think the deeper that you got into it, the more that you lost respect for the individual?
The more I lost respect for myself.
Mm.
Right? Because you got to realize, see, and this is where it gets deep for an individual, because I was given a set of principles that were false.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm going against the very principles which was false in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So now I got a mask on top of a mask.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't even done yet, because I ain't even started smoking. I ain't even started smoking crack yet.
Yeah.
I'm still just snorting and going to the little powder head bars around the city in Cincinnati. This is what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then, before I know it, because, you know, what happens is the resources start to get thinner as the addiction starts to progress. At least in my story, in most stories. Some people don't have but I think it starts to get worse no matter what. So now,
When you mean resources, you mean like lifelines?
I mean like money.
Money, gotcha.
I mean like money. You know what I mean? Like before, to where I can drop 90, like remember that number I said, you know what I'm saying, I can drop 80, 90. You gotta realize these are 2000. These are early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? The going price of like bar coochie was between, you know what I'm saying, $100 and $200.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Which was a mean ticket.
Yeah, that's.
You know what I'm saying?
That's tricky 101.
Yeah. I'm giving it to you straight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? See, like in the city, man, we had spots like the Booty Bash, like it was an underground little strip circuit. You know what I'm saying? Like one of my lady friends, she used to work in the Booty Bash. I don't know, you remember the Natti little porn videos? You know what I'm saying? You had that little clique, and they was supposed to like had little brothels, and they had dudes coming through, and they be tricking. My brother, my blood brother, you know what I'm saying? He had a house, and he would throw parties, and the bras would come in. Some of them would be dancing, others would be working. You know what I'm saying? Like he had like a crew, like a couple of them was in the truck driving circuit. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know what I'm saying, I got attached to them too. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, some of them wanted to go a little deeper in the gutter than what my brother was willing to push it. So now here I am, I got you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, you know what I'm saying? It's layers to it. This is my point. It got to the point to where I'm no longer just snorting powder. Now I'm smoking crack. Right? Mm-hmm. Now, you know what I'm saying, instead of meeting these bras at the bar, because going to bars costs money. Mm-hmm. That's more money that could be going toward, and I need that extra money. So now I'm just going to the streets, who out on the street. Now I'm picking up streetwalkers. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm bare bones, I'm at the bottom. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Now I done quit snorting, now I'm just smoking. You know what I'm saying? And I done picked up a little heroin habit. Right, this is back when it was still heroin. You know what I'm saying? I'm snorting heroin, smoking crack, smoking weed, drinking. Now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm full blown addict, totally in denial. I'm flipping cars. I'm doing all this. I'm getting all this help. I'm lying to my mama about different stuff that's happening. My mama helping me. She trying to help me. You know what I'm saying? Like all this different stuff going on.
Was your father around during this time?
No. When I get out of the penitentiary, my father passed.
Gotcha.
This is the deal about that. Interesting that you bring it up, because that's a serious factor. because my daddy, who had been my hero after he died, I find out that he was sexually molesting my older siblings that my mother brought into the marriage.
Wow.
So my whole image of God and the church is now ruined. At the same time, I'm getting out of prison, my alcoholism is cranking up. So here we are together. Now I'm in a complete hurricane of emotions and drugs and alcohol and loss and identity crisis. More so than anything, it's an identity crisis. I was like, who I want to be? Like, I really don't want to be a criminal. I ain't no criminal. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it takes to not be. I ain't never been nothing else. You know what I'm saying? I've been in jail all this time. It's hard to get a job, all this kind of stuff. You know, I'm managing to make way. You know, I got this family. Now I'm drinking. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm in these little hole in the wall bars. You know what I'm saying? With these different, you know, characters that frequent those kind of bars. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? In there. You know, and doing stuff, because there's people in there, man, who make a living at these bars. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about, man, you know what I'm saying, people, I'm talking about people with businesses, man. Subcontractors. You know what I'm saying? So I'm staying afloat legitimately. You know, doing different work. I'm scrapping. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I'm still like, you know, my baby middleman in drug deals here and there. You know, where I can, because I still got this kind of access. Plus, in Cincinnati, they don't know that I'm smoking. Or so I think. It ain't widespread known that I'm smoking. So I still got a certain amount of cachet, if you will, with certain people to be able to get certain things. So I'm not all the way, you know what I mean, exposed at this point. Anyway, I ended up going to treatment in 2013. I go to treatment in 2013. You know what I mean? I started having health issues. You know what I'm saying? Like my weight dropped, all kinds of stuff, man. And when I go to treatment, like I learn about addiction, I learn about alcoholism, I learn about, you know, meetings, I learn about sponsorship. But what I really didn't grab a hold of is that spiritual life and spiritual principles. And, you know, I continue to relapse really up until this last time, until I really got with the fundamental idea of spiritual principles.
How many times did it take you to go to rehab though?
Well, so I went the first time in 13, and I done probably been like once a year since. Okay. So we're gonna say like 13 times, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like some years I might go twice, some years I might not go. You know what I'm saying? And I get anywhere between 6 months and 11 months. And then I fall off and I might use for a couple months. Then I go back into treatment.
What you think was causing you to fall off?
The lack of living by spiritual principles. You know what I mean? Because, you know, I get sober, but I still want to steal things. I still want to lie. I still want to get a woman. And it wasn't so much that I get a woman, but now I got a woman, now I'm lying to her. Now I'm cheating on her. You know what I'm saying? It's really, it's a verse in the Bible where it talks about on this principle is waged the whole law, and that's have no other God, to love the Lord with all your heart, mind, and soul, and to love thy neighbor as thyself. Something like on this hangs the whole law. And like, I wasn't really treating people how I wanted to be treated. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, you know, it took for me to get married and to have a wife. You know, we met before we was married, and we was in recovery, and we was clean. And to really to see her follow me into destruction, it really took that reality for me to really see my manhood. You know what I mean? To like see it like play out in front of me. To see like, you know, I'm leading this individual to destruction. And it guilted me, right? But I had enough of God moving in my life that it also empowered me, Will, because it showed me that if I could lead someone to destruction, then I could also lead someone to life.
Amen.
I just had to get it together myself, for myself. And I couldn't go into it thinking about the drugs and the dope. They've been telling me from day one that the dope is just a symptom. Mm-hmm. I never got with that piece. But I think I'm starting to scratch the surface on what they really mean. It's not the dope. It's the fact that I was a person who was willing to put all this stuff in my body.
That's good.
And do all these different kind of things to be what? When I was okay, well, I should have known that I was okay without them. Mm-hmm. And what recovery really is to let me know that I'm okay without all that.
Fact.
Without all that, I don't need no dope. I don't need no alcohol. I don't need to womanize. Mm-hmm. I don't need to stick people up. I don't need to be a gangster. I don't need to be a thug. Mm-hmm. I just be me. I'm cool.
Talk about it. Let me ask you something. You said your wife was in recovery at the time?
We met in recovery.
Y'all met in recovery.
We
okay,
met
that's
in
what
recovery.
I was going to.
Can I tell that story?
Go ahead.
That's
important right there.
That's critical. So I have a child. My child is gonna be 5 this November. And so the mother of my child, she overdosed and died. And so my son, she overdosed when he was 6 months. And so I met my wife. My son was like 9 months old. And I was on the bus going out to see him. He was with his guardian now. That's his mom, Ramika Render. I love you. Thank you so much. Because I couldn't do this without her. Because if my son was out there loose booty, you know what I'm saying, I'd run off in the bank if I had to. I'm just telling you. Yeah. I'm not saying that. I'm telling you, I couldn't do this. Mm-hmm. If he was out there loose booty, I ain't no telling what I might do. I had to be dead or in jail. But anyway, I was going out there to see him, and his birth mom, she was deceased. You know, we was together in addiction, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I met her, and I was on the bus, and I was like, hey, what's your name? And she told me whatever. And she was like, well, I'm in sober living. And I remember looking at her, I was like, I'm in sober living too. You know what I'm saying? And we smiled and everything, and so we exchanged numbers. You know what I mean? And then from there, you know, we lost contact. We stayed friends, and like that next year, we decided that we was gonna maybe so that was like in July. So like it was like that next April or May when we linked back together, and we decided we was just gonna try to maybe be more than friends. And then we got married in August the 30th of 2024.
Okay, then. Congratulations.
Yeah, we met in 2020. So, you know what I mean? But it was seeing her and how, because what would happen is, you know, I would relapse, and she was staying clean. You know, God love her. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And like what would happen was I just wouldn't contact her while I was using. And she told me, she was like, listen, she's like, that's unacceptable. She's like, I need to know if you okay. Mm-hmm. Right? And then, you know, like the last time, it was a thing to where it was like, she was like, if you gonna use, I'm gonna use with you, because I'm not gonna be apart from you. Wow. She was like, I'm not willing to be apart from you. Even if you destroy yourself, I don't want to be apart from you. Mm. And like that it moved something inside of me. Cause, you know, I love my wife. Mm-hmm. I love her. I do. And you know, like I say, man, to know that I was leading her into that destruction, but like I say, man, it was also a point of hope, because that let me know, you know what I'm saying? Because my wife ain't nobody's follower. My wife she ain't goofy or nothing like that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. For her to say that towards me and about me, like said something about me to me. You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, we made the decision, man, and August the 12th, we went to a place, and we got half when we went there. That's why my sobriety date is August 13th. So you know what I mean. But like a week before that, like just like when they say it was all good just a week ago, it was all bad just a week ago. I was going to stores and taking stuff, shoplifting, and now like some of those charges have come back. And they want me to appear in court now. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go down there and I'm gonna face it, man. You know what I mean? And,
for sure.
And I was thinking about this. Like, the one crazy but good thing about this whole situation is, like, no matter what they talking about, I know I can do the time. I know I'm gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that same thing. You know what I mean? Like that. That hurt me and hold me back. Like, you know what I mean? It allows me to be courageous in the face of this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Plus, I know God got me.
For sure.
I know God got me. You know what I'm saying? And I can truly say I don't have a desire like to use or to try to get high before I go in, or want to have some party when I get out. You know what I'm saying? I want to take care of this, man, and answer for the consequences of my actions that I actually did. And I don't have a problem with that, man. I don't need a break.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, man, I'm gonna accept it. You know what I mean? Because I did it. You know what I mean? And it's a world out there. You know what I'm saying? I can say this since I've been clean. You know what I'm saying? I ain't been stealing. I ain't been lying. I ain't been doing something. Now I still struggle with some of my browser history. Don't tell nobody. The Lord's still working on my browser history.
Part of recovery.
Lord help me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't strive for perfection, but I do strive for excellence.
Talking.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, you know what I mean? Like and I feel like, man, in a lot of my approaches and a lot of the things that I do, man, that today they're impeccable. I can stand on like the things that I do, like my choices today, like, you know what I'm saying? Like the way that I treat people and the way that, I sincerely have a desire for people to do good, you know what I mean? And I sincerely want to encourage others and to just tell people that there is a God and that He loves you.
Most definitely.
He loves us. How do I know? Because He loves me.
Mm-hmm.
He loves me singularly, personally.
Mm-hmm.
And He saw me through some things that I couldn't see myself through. You know what I mean? But it did teach me a lot about myself. It taught me so much about myself, like in my strengths. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That I just didn't really see or allow to shine. And now that's what recovery means to me, is a chance to be the person that God originally intended to be. That's who and what I recover. The person who God originally intended for me to be.
Speaking about shining and stuff, touch on that album that you got me here to, bro. Like, when you started putting that together, man.
Okay, so I didn't regurgitate it, but I done been to discipleship school.
Oh, okay.
Exodus program. Shout out Exodus Cincinnati. Shout out, like, listen, man. It's a recovery program, but I call it discipleship school because that's a part of it too. I'm in there, and I've been rapping all my life. You know what I'm saying? Since the hip hop, the hippie to the hippie, the hip, all that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm in that program, and I'm in the bathroom, bro, cutting my hair, and God don't speak to me like that. Not that I don't want to put it out there like, man, God told me to. And God, I ain't one of them. Yeah. But He has spoken to me. I truly believe. And He spoke to me. He said, man, I want you to make a mixtape, but I want you to make it for me. Right? Like I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like some of that. Yeah, man. And so at the time, like, we doing groups, like you could call them groups, but they really like Bible studies. Like, these different pastors and ministers, they coming in there and they teaching these classes about these different doctrines, and they're teaching about total deprivation. They teaching about the different dispensations of the Bible and the book of Genesis and the Pauline epistle. Like, they got these different biblical classes that they teaching us, you know what I'm saying, that's also like running parallel with a recovery intent, right? And so, you know what I'm saying, I'm like, God, like, how's I gonna make some, how? I can't make no beats. I ain't like, what you want me to, like, somebody to beatbox? And we just, you know what I'm saying? Listen, I promise you, man, it was 72 hours. This dude by the name of Tanner come in, and he was like, listen, man, I'm an intern at Cincinnati State, and I'm getting my audio-visual certification, and I need to book some hours, man, so if anybody got any projects or anything that they need to work on, you know, I got a studio, I've been approved through your program if you want to, and I'm like, I'm like, me, you know what I'm saying? And like, look, I'm telling you, so, you know, I've been writing lyrics all my life, but like, most of the time when I'm writing for him, it just comes. It's unlike anything I've ever experienced. And so Slime and Pitch, that's the album, that's the mixtape. Slime and Pitch. We had a place to where we could put it out, put it up there. But Slime and Pitch, that's my first spiritual gospel mixtape.
It's on YouTube, right?
It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube. I want people to go check it out. It's lyrics to beats. It's hip hop in its purest form, and it's representing God's kingdom. It's important for me to say it and to do it that way, to say that it is not like, you know, this is straight biblical lyricism. This ain't the person auto-tuning and coming in, I love the Lord.
It ain't corny. It ain't corny at all.
No.
I told you, bro, it touched me as soon as I hit the first track.
To God be the glory. Yeah. Because, you know what I mean, that's the kind of lyricism. I come out of that, you know, late 80s, 90s, you know, quote unquote, they call it the golden era. You know, I come out of that Rakim, Cool G rap, KRS-One, you know, the early Scarface, the early NWA, the early Ice Cube, the early Chuck D, the early Compton Most Wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like the early, you know, Suave House. You know what I mean? Mr. Big. You know, I come from that flavor of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, the Big Daddy Kane's. You know what I'm saying? And you know, people who were serious about lyricism.
I tell you, bro, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I have to give you your flowers, bro, because like it put me in a state of like Wu-Tang, but with the heart of DMX, the griminess of DMX, the real. I'm telling you, like the real life testimonies, bro.
Yeah.
That really hit home, bro, because I relate to a lot of that stuff that you was talking about, and I'm like, how he put the word up in there like that, like it was amazing to me. I'm like, how is he doing that? Because like you doing these scriptures, like. I was like, this is hard. Like I said, there's no corniness and ain't none of that other stuff that I'm used to hearing. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it made me feel comfortable rolling with it in my truck. Like, this is what's up, and you won't even know. You know what I mean? Like that's hard, bro. That's like, and so I wanted to talk about this. I want to talk about this, right, and. So, it's a scripture in the Bible. Like, if you notice, I got two crosses. I got two crucifixes, right? So you got the cross, but then you got my cross, right? There's a scripture that talks about if any man want to follow me, well, we deny ourselves. Then I got to pick up my cross, and then I can follow him. And so, you know, music, audio, sight, and sound, I believe, is a part of me picking up my cross. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be something that I believe is going to give God the glory. And like you said, like that it touched you and it inspired you in a way, I give God all the glory for that. Because I have written songs before. I have performed before. And I know that though I'm older now, I'm 50, I can't, like,
as far as being younger, I can't perform the way that I used to. But as far as like the fact that, given the subject matter, given the fact that I don't use profanity, given the fact that it is, it's spiritual based, it's Bible based, like these are probably some of the best lyrics that I've ever came up with them. And they come out like, look, man, like it ain't no like, I wish I had the originals. It's like all
fluid like that.
Like fluid like that. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes like, dude, I done got up in the middle of the night and wrote whole songs and went back to sleep and then woke up in the morning and looked at it like, oh God. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's why I know that this is not originating in me, but I get to be a vessel for what, he is, for what the work that he's doing in me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I gotta tell you this, you a part of this. Mm-hmm. You a part of this.
How is that?
I don't exactly know.
Right.
But I know that you're a part of it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, and this is just a start. I don't know if it's time for you to pick your pen back up. Mm-hmm. I know for a fact that on this new project that I'm putting together, I know for a fact that there's one particular track specifically that I want you to be a part of.
Amen.
And I want you to be a part of. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. I ain't gonna lie, because you definitely inspired me to pick that mother back up. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, man. To God be the glory.
Yeah, fact,
you know what I'm saying?
Fact.
And like that's what it's about. That's what it's about. Like when somebody relapses, you probably have done this or have heard it done. When somebody relapses and they come back into recovery, right? They ask them, well, what's gonna be different? Mm. Well, what's gonna be different, man? Because it's the same material. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? When you go to meetings, it's the same material. You do groups, it's the same material. What's gonna be different? The only thing that's gonna be different is gonna be within me. My perspective and my perception. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the answer that they be looking for, but you don't always know that. But What? Look like we have 47 minutes.
No, you all good.
Yeah, but listen. So what was different was I made a conscious decision that I was going to be who I believe God has meant me to be. And that is a person who speaks life to and into other people so that they might speak life and be life to other people. You know what I'm saying? That is who and what God made me to be. I am not just a person who can just, walk around like, oh, I'm sober. Mm-hmm. Bye. No. God made me. And he showed me throughout my life at different points how he spared me. From so I catch the aggravated robbery, right? My best friend, he was with me that night. I ain't tell on him, mm-hmm. But he go on to commit a murder and is on death row right now to this day. Wow. My best friend in the world. Wow. If you want, I ain't gonna say his name like that, but you know what I'm saying? He was my best friend. He dumped the body in my old neighborhood. Well, I told him, just when you dump a body, that's where he dumped the body. You see what I'm saying? You might have to strike that part.
Yeah, I was about to say, hold on before you get too deep.
Yeah, but anyway,
listen, hold on.
But I wasn't with him though. I wasn't with him.
Yeah.
I wasn't with him. No, I wasn't. No, that's the truth. Yeah. I wasn't with him. God spared me for that. Now I had to go do the time that I had to do, but God spared me. You know what I'm saying? Plus, I ain't say no names. Yeah. You're good. So you know what I'm saying? Yeah, but God spared me from that. Then, so. Remember I told you the mother of my child died of a fentanyl overdose. Now I had a heroin habit, but that converted over to fentanyl. It was virtually impossible to find real deal heroin. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't no real deal smack. It all converted to fentanyl. But anyway, so that morning when she overdosed and died, on every other morning, but see, we was arguing about something. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know what I'm saying, she had busted a little move, and she was, you know, she was like, you know, funding the festivities. So when she got the dope, she ain't give me none of the fentanyl. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to be funny. Cause she knew I was gonna be sick, so she wanted me to have my pride, like even though I knew I was gonna be sick, my pride wouldn't let me ask her for none. That's what she wanted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying? That's how dope manipulate. But I'm like, nah, I ain't doing that. She ended up passing. If she'd have gave me some of that dope, I probably ain't here. You know what I'm saying? So my pastor, man, and shout out, man, to Pastor Kenny Smith, man, Dayton, Ohio, man, Lakeview and Clifton, Greater Love Christian Fellowship, man. God don't necessarily want to change you from you, but he wants the you to now be for him. You see what I'm saying? So like my stubbornness now is can't nobody turn me from him.
That's good.
You know what I mean? So now my pride and ego in myself is that I know it ain't me, it's him. But he is allowing me to be his vessel. You know what I mean? You know, so now, you know, my courage to stand in the face of, you know, a beat down from the deputies, they beat me to an inch of my life, man. You know what I'm saying? The Hamilton County Sheriff.
Yeah.
They beat me to an inch of my life.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? And I took it. You know what I'm saying? And like I say that to say that I don't, you know what I'm saying? I know, I stand on what I stand on. You know what I'm saying? Like God will take a person and you won't think that he can use you. You would be like, man, why? You know what I'm saying? You know, I did this, I did that. I'm this, I'm that. You know what I'm saying? But God ain't seeing that.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? God sees us through a lens that says that God sees the best. You know, he saw the best in me. You know, but that's a real thing.
Yeah.
That's a real thing. God sees the best in you. It's just like you got children.
Yeah.
You know, your child, you know what I'm saying? You know, they might do something that they ain't supposed to do. But they still your child. Right. You're not gonna see them for that. You're gonna see them for you know, as
my
the
child.
innocent, the innocent, beautiful. I'm talking about no matter how old they get, no matter what they do. You know what I'm saying? Like my best homie. Like I know his mama. You know what I'm saying? His mama don't see him for the crime that he committed.
That's good.
You see what I'm saying? She don't see him for that. You know what I mean? You know, so, you know, I like to say that it's all about giving the glory to him. And once we lock in on that, then we are exalted.
Let me touch on something real quick.
Yes, sir.
Put this in real quick. It's like I tell the residents up in here, right? I tell them all the time, God then gave us a natural gift that's in all of us. If we just naturally be ourselves, a gift that people go to school for years to try to learn. But just like you said, you could be sleeping, wake up and do some stuff.
Yeah,
that's like me. I do the same thing. I'll be up 4 o'clock in the morning and just get to writing and it just go fluidly, like boom, boom, boom. A lot of people can't do that. Right. And I believe all of us had that natural ability to tap into our God-given purpose, man, our God-given gift. He does that to us all. It's just in us to figure out what that is. You know what I mean? Some people is artists. Some people are drawers. Some people, you know what I mean, natural speakers. But we all have that within us, man.
Well, let me say this. I learned this going back to my first treatment experience, and I hold on to this. Every man, woman, and child that was born, we are always born an artist. If somebody comes along and tells us to put that down, or nah, don't be drawing on that. Don't draw on that wall. Oh no, put that down. You said that. Oh man, then quit bamming on that table. We all are born artists. varying degrees, various expressions, right?
Mm-hmm.
But art in our society is dummied down. We do not exist in a society that, as a rule, cultivates art.
Mm-hmm.
And if it does, it's still in a box of what we consider art.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's just now starting to scratch the surface of the freedom that needs to be within the expression of art, so that people can actually even have a chance to be and express themselves, how they can actually be and express themselves. And you're absolutely right. God, listen, every person as a human being, the human being, I know that people say that we animals and all that kind of stuff. The human mind is special to a point that we have to cultivate the different aspects that we each have as individuals. That's why America is so, in theory, like as far as what they talk about, you know what I'm saying? Like, we hold these truths to be self-evident that, every person should be able to pursue happiness. If I could add to that, I would say express themselves artistically as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, could you imagine like, let's just say somebody was going for an interview to be an engineer, right? And they had to go to school to be the engineer and do this. And on the interview, man, oh, by the way, we want you to sing a song before we hire you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Can you imagine that? Or we want you to draw us a picture. You had to have something artistic to add to you to say that you're an actual creative person, because there are two places where we as human beings, I believe, tap almost fully into the God conscious.
What's that?
That is when we give without any expectation or motive of getting something back, because that's how God gives. You can't give nothing to God.
Fact.
You can't give nothing to God. You ain't even giving him praise. He's old praise. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And when we create. We create.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? We
facts.
Tap. So when we are creating,
that's real good,
and giving him praise. Oh my God! Oh my God! You talking about now? You talking about something? Now you talking about something? That's why people love the praise and worship team so much.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That's why people. That's why when people. You think about music, you think about choirs, you think about karaoke, you think about people doodling, like in staff meetings, man. We are natural artists until someone, somebody, or something comes along and tells you that you're not.
And that's what happens to a lot of us.
That's what happens to a lot.
We about to go in deep. This is the whole hour. But before we close this off, bro.
Yeah.
You got any last encouraging words? Any more encouraging words for the people out there, especially to the young brothers and sisters that's coming up in this?
Well, this the thing, man. Just remember that there is a God, and He loves you, and the rest will work itself out. You know what I'm saying? But remember that there is a God and that He loves you.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Because other than that, like, I can tell people don't get high, don't do this, don't do that. When I was young, you couldn't tell me none of those things. I had to get my own experience. And I believe that's what people are going to do. But there's a God and He loves you. He does. You know what I'm saying? Just think about this for a second. Just contemplate this for a second. When we born into a world where everything is provided for us. We just got to go out and get it. But everything that we need is already here. We just got to go out and get it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just so many different sides, man. There's so much beauty in this world. You know what I'm saying? Just tap into that, man. You know, the word says, you know, whatever things are good, whatever things are pure, whatever things are righteous, to meditate on these things. You know what I'm saying? It's giving us an instruction, man, like to look for the positive in life. And first and foremost, look for the positive that's in you. You know what I mean? And come against, you know, that spirit of negativity, the spirit of doubt, and the spirit of destruction. You know what I mean?
Seek first the kingdom of God.
And all these other things gonna be added.
Facts. Facts.
See what I'm saying?
I appreciate you, King.
Yeah, I appreciate you. I had a good time.
For sure.
Yeah, you
man.
gotta send me a copy.
I'm pretty sure that you're going to inspire a lot of people with this, man. I appreciate y'all taking out the time to tap in with us, and I'm going to get at y'all later on. God bless.
God bless. Peace.
Peace.